Hello? Do you guys see us? I don't see us. I'm waiting for it to load on the YouTube link. Oh no, we're a black screen.
It's showing somebody else.
I know that they can hear us. Hey guys, something is funky on the back end. Well, we're here with Thinker today, and I'm so excited.
Hey, y'all. Although you can't see me and I can't see y'all.
There we are.
I'm so sorry. There's tech issues today. I apologize, everybody.
There we go.
No, it's totally fine. We like a little extra, something extra from time to time to make the shows a little different. Welcome to Chewed Gum. Today's date is June 30th. Oh my God, it's about to be July. I can't believe it. If you want to call in, maybe wait, because we are having some issues with our call-in system. But I will give you an update on that shortly. But this is Chewed Gum. It's a show about rejecting purity culture, challenging misogyny, and the effects of religious trauma on women. And okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up to date on what's going on. I think that's my spiel for now until we get the okay that you guys can call in. I think you can, but let me just wait till we get the okay. Anyways, Thinker, how you doing?
I'm doing good. My birthday is Sunday.
Ooh, yeah. So you were saying you're doing like an event for your birthday?
Yeah, so it's a private community event where I'm meeting a lot of the people within the online community.
Ooh.
Yeah, so excited
That's so
about
fun.
that. Yeah.
That'll be great. Or is this the first time you're doing something like that?
No, we've done several of these.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So this is also brave because I am so nervous about doing like public things with online followers. I feel like I've seen that true crime doc enough times. You know?
Don't say that right before my birthday. No, but so we have a private community Discord server with paid subscribers that have been in the community for like 3 years.
Whoa.
And so everything is on the hush hush, like we don't share information publicly. We don't share where
Hmm.
we're going to be. No streaming, while we're in public places,
Yeah.
so that we keep our whereabouts a secret. And then even the people who did not go, who are in
Hmm.
the community, don't know where we are while we're out.
Love. That's so fun. It's a whole secret. That's really fun. I love
Yeah.
that. And that's such like a great birthday plan.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait.
Yay. I'm driving across the country this weekend. That's my plan.
Oh, where are you
Um,
going?
I moved to LA actually since the last time I spoke to you, I think. Um, oh my God. So much has happened actually since the last time I spoke to you. I'm realizing this now. I think because was the last time that we had a call in like the winter last year?
But yeah, like not last year, this year.
Oh, it was this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got married. We went to Vegas
What?
and it was so fun. We went to Vegas. The like Chad has heard this whole spiel before, but it was we did the Little White Chapel situation, and then we went to go see Chris Angel Mind Freak, the magician.
Oh, wow.
And then we went to the Rainforest Cafe for dinner. And it
Oh, I
was
love the Rainforest
perfect.
Cafe.
It was
Absolutely.
it was so good. So I did that and then I moved to LA and with my husband, and so I'm gonna go to New York for my brother's wedding. So that'll be a good time.
When is that?
That is on the 11th,
My
July
sister's getting
11th.
married the 11th. So the day that I come back from my
Yeah.
birthday, yeah, I have to leave the morning of the 11th, rush
Hmm.
back because my sister well, she's my cousin, but grew up as my sister. So
Yeah.
that's all I've known her as. But she's getting married on the 11th too.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
And then my little brother got married last weekend. My youngest brother got married last
Wow.
weekend. And then we buried my grandmother this weekend.
Oh
So,
my God. Your whole family, ups and downs.
yeah.
Ups and
It
downs.
reminded me of the movie, was it Two Weddings and a Funeral or Four
Two
Weddings
weddings and a
and
funeral. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry about your grandmother.
Oh, thank you. She lived a long life. She's long,
Yeah.
long life. So
That's,
she's
that's been like it's interesting because I lost my grandmother last August. And I was very close with her, but it was overall kind of like that was by far one of the less traumatic
hmm
death experiences that I've had because she was old. Like
hmm
that's the order of things. So it didn't
like
feel the
traumatic, like shocking.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When someone
Yeah.
that you know, like it was untimely or they were young and sick and whatever, like that whole thing, it's so different. But when they get to like really, you feel like their full cycle of life, that's kind of a beautiful experience. So, you know,
Yeah. That's why a lot of times when, and I know this show isn't about Bible, but when we are talking to people about David in the Bible
hmm
and how he should have died
hmm
uh, for committing adultery
yeah.
and murder, according to the law, they'll go, well, he did die. He was 80 years old when he died, but he died. And I'm like, he lived his whole life.
He lived his whole life. He lived his whole life. And that's also a crazy thing to say because if in the beginning of his life, they said to him, like, you will die at some point, but it'll be at 80 years old, literally every single person would take that deal. Every single
Exactly.
person. Come
Yeah.
on. That is
Yeah.
so crazy.
That's the same thing. That's the same deal they give Adam. They only give the men in this Bible that deal. Like you realize that? Like
Yeah,
Adam is like, if you eat this apple, you're gonna die. Well, he did die. He died 930 years later.
right. 900, a cool 900 years later. Please. Oh my God. It's just so crazy. It's just so crazy. It feels
Yeah.
like, I don't know, watching people justify all of it will never cease to amaze me. And one of my favorite parts of doing these kinds of shows is it never fails that the folks who call in, even if they are calling in and they're like relatively good natured, um, they have read the Bible less than the hosts that we have. So like they'll bring stuff up. It's sort of like, if you want to square up, we can square up, but you're not going to like how it goes. Like if you want to do
Yeah.
it, we can, but you're not going to like how it goes. And I feel like I see that happen over and over and over again. And then inevitably there's someone who will be like, well, you don't know the Bible like I do, blah, blah, blah. And then there's going to be a host on the show who's like, actually, yes, I do. Probably better than you.
Yeah.
And it's delicious every time it happens. I'm like,
Somebody in the community the other day said, when I was a Christian, I didn't read the Bible because the gospel music was my Bible. And I was like, that is so real. Most Christians don't read the Bible because the gospel songs is them reading the Bible or them getting what they need. So they think they know the Bible because they sing the gospel songs.
that feels like the equivalent of being like, well, I follow Dua Lipa on Instagram, so we are friends, and I know everything that she does. I was invited to her wedding. Like that makes no sense. You're just relying on like a highlight reel and then the interpretation of the highlight reel.
Yeah, but that's what we do as
Yeah.
like because most of us as Christians, well, I was a missionary, so I had to because I had to preach. But most of us, um, like we don't read the Bible.
Right.
Most people just sing the gospel songs. And I know my Jesus.
Hmm.
I know my God.
I mean, even I've said this before, but my mom was part of a Bible study that was specifically for women, um, which it's interesting as she's gotten more politically involved, she's less involved in her Bible study stuff. And she recently told us that she's going to take a year off. And we're all trying to be very cool and chill about it. We're like, okay, whatever you need. It's so crazy. But we're all like sort of waiting with bated breath to see what happens next. But when she was doing the Bible study, the book that they were using, it was like so what's the word? Oh my God, it's escaping me and it's such like a basic word. They it was like the Bible for women. And it's like, what do
Um,
you mean?
it's the man
For
Bible.
yeah, it's like, what do you mean? It was just so that's so offensive. Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
It's
So,
focused on like purity culture,
yeah.
reaffirming the patriarchy, male domination.
Hmm.
Women die when the gods say you're gonna die, they die that day. They don't die 930 years later, like the men. Like it's focused on like you deserve to die if you sin. You deserve
Right.
grace if you sin. Like it's focused on that. I call those man Bibles.
Man Bibles.
Yeah, because they're focused on reaffirming the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that Bible also did a really great job of cherry picking moments where like in within the Bible, it's uh women are seen in like a positive light where it's like, well, obviously this is not a misogynist Jesus text because look at this time that Jesus was so nice to women. What about that?
Where, which one are they talking about? Where?
I have no idea.
I
I just
cannot think.
patronizing. That's the word. Someone said it in the chat. Thank you. Patronizing. It is extremely patronizing to have the Bible for women. Like it's insinuating essentially that they can't read. They have no comprehension skills. Like, what are you talking about?
I think it's because they know they have to wash the stories and make
Yeah.
women see something different other than what the narrative says. Because the women in the Bible are sex objects,
Yeah.
right? Like they're used to protect the buttholes of men
Mm.
in Sodom and in Genesis 19, and then again in Judges 19 with the Levite. And literally, I have made videos about this. And the male believers would be in my comments and say the women knew it was their honor to protect the angels with their bodies. It was back then, women were proud to offer up their bodies. Like, it's that type of stuff is what they would put in like a Bible for women.
They're
Like, if this was
so
not seen as something, I didn't do something bad when he offered up his daughters. This was honor and faith. Like, yeah.
it's just so like, what the fuck is going on? That's how I feel all the time. Even at its most basic level, the fact that the two most popular like female characters in the Bible, even from like a cultural lens, it's the Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene, who's a prostitute. And so basically you've given women two categories to enter.
Absolutely.
You are either a prostitute or you're a virgin, and there is no in between.
And then here's the crazy part. You're supposed to be able to provide them children while maintaining your virginity. You're supposed to be able to do the impossible, present yourself as this pure virgin while
Right.
producing heirs,
Mm-hmm.
and then not be promiscuous. And the crazy thing about it is, in antiquity, in Rome, the prostitutes were the educated. The prostitutes, yeah, they were the educated, the ones that could be in politics, the ones that could, they were not under the guardian of men. And men
Right.
preferred their company over their wives' company. Their wives were a means to maintaining the household, like
Mm-hmm.
labor, and maintaining their, being the boss of the other wives and the servants, and then producing heirs. They were not for sexual pleasure, but the prostitute
Oh,
was for sexual pleasure. She was for conversation. She was for doing business with. So they're like, don't be this, and you got to figure out a way to do the impossible. You got to figure out a way to still maintain your purity to me, your virginity, while
yeah.
producing the heirs.
That is so interesting. I had no idea
Yeah.
that that was a thing, that like prostitutes had this whole other like function in
Mhm.
society too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what they don't teach women in men Bibles.
Right. In men
Yeah.
Bibles. Yeah, of course they wouldn't. Why would they? It is interesting to think about like how someone in the chat, Coffee Mom, had said that it's the Virgin Mother. Like that is
Mhm.
so, what the hell does that mean? That is so crazy. I never understand that. Like the company that I work for, I was saying before, like they teach like connection and intimacy, whatever, to couples. And so there was an ad that we posted, which like I do sort of agree with this feedback, but it is interesting to think about. There was an ad that we posted that another creator made for us. And then we ran as an ad, and it was I believe it was for Father's Day. So it was like, buy this for your husband to like reconnect with him, and this is the gift that he wants, essentially. So because it's Father's Day, um, the first clip of the video is the dad, like the guy opening his door, and his kid like quickly runs past the frame. And in my mind, when I saw it, I was like, well, it's Father's Day. So like obviously there's a child that has to exist for this to be Father's Day. But then the rest of it, there's no kid in the rest of it. Every single comment on that ad was, that's disgusting. A kid in an ad about sex. And it's like, first of all, where did you think the kid came from?
Right. What?
And it's the context of it is important. The kid runs across the screen one single time, and then the rest of it is nowhere to be found. And the reality of parenting is like your kids are around.
Yeah.
So like,
You don't have time for intimacy. Like
right.
the kid in the shot is to give that feeling and that relatability. You're
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And they don't get that. But again, you're supposed to somehow produce kids without actually having sex, because
Right.
sex is nasty. Sex is sin. Even lust is sin, according to Jesus. So somehow you're supposed to be able to do the do, but present as if you haven't done the do, and you've
Hmm.
done this divine thing and produced heirs, and you're still pure.
So it's so crazy. So crazy and so silly. Well, we do have some callers that are waiting. Currently, we have two atheists, both from Canada. Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. So we will take their calls in a minute, but before we do, as a reminder, super chats of $5 or more will be read at the end of the show. And if you do want to call in, you can call in to 720-619-2288. It's also on the screen, and you can use the web link in the description if you're calling from elsewhere. And yeah, we have some lines open, so feel free to call in and everything's working smoothly. Okay, let me just see what we have. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to take the first person who called in because he called in last week and we didn't get to his call. So we're going to bring in Nathan, who's calling from Canada. Hi, Nathan.
Oh, hello. You did get to my call last week, actually.
Oh, we did? Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, yes. And then I remembered at the end, I said, I want to continue this conversation. Call back again next week.
For sure.
Okay. Okay, cool. So we have Thinker here today. So,
Hello.
Hello, Nathan. How are you?
Days can always be better for me, but that's just me specifically. I hope your days are fantastic.
Oh, that's
yeah,
lovely. Thank you. So the last time Nathan called, we were talking about discrimination against men and boys. Is there a place you wanted to pick up on that conversation, Nathan?
Yeah, so there's a few ways I can do this. Or not I can do this. That sounds, I don't like the way that sounds. So I really, really latched on to, I don't remember if it was you or Taylor who I was speaking with mostly last time.
I think it was mostly me, but
Okay,
I don't
for sure.
remember. But I want to say it was mostly me.
Okay, I'm terrible at recognizing voices. But yeah, one of the ones is there was, I think I made pretty bad arguments towards why I think like the phrase like men should be more responsible or they should be more responsible, which I'd like to deconstruct, or really going down kind of a different road regarding, I think my main topic on it, maybe not necessarily as male discrimination. I think that's more of a buzzwordy thing. But I think I want to try and elucidate. I do feel like to some extent, and it's totally reasonable that this is, but like I exist in the left, and I frankly can understand why men maybe don't feel like they belong there. Now I think a lot of them are making that excuse because their beliefs or some other things, right? But I think even as a person who I think holds extremely similar views, probably to both of you on the left, that I still don't feel like I belong in this community as a man.
What makes you feel that way? What makes you feel like you don't belong?
So in my case, I feel like I also have an intersectionality of, I myself have mental illness, very severe mental illness. And as such, I present fairly socially awkwardly. I'm not the greatest at talking to people, talking and listening. Like just some of those skills are very weak for me. And just some other things. So I show up very socially awkwardly at times. And the other part I feel like where I don't belong is then I feel like if I ever advocate just saying, hey, I think men have a hard time, or I'll say I think women have this one thing that works out that I don't see men get all that much. And all of a sudden I'm immediately painted as just this misogynist.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I think to an extent, I totally understand where that's coming from, because I feel like 90% of the people who you are trying to attract onto the show and to call onto the show have terrible arguments, pretty bad faith, are probably misogynistic. And I think also by virtue, if they're misogynistic, I think there was I saw a great clip by someone. It's like, you can't really have a good faith debate with someone if that person doesn't believe you deserve rights.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Like, I totally see why most people are primed to be very hostile to what I'm saying. But at the same time, I really, really, really find like there's genuinely just this hostility, kind of ignoring men, kind of just blaming them for stuff. And I feel like it's missing a diagnosis of the problem. And for everything that's wrong on the right, sometimes I find some truth in just some of the things they say. I have to be real specific because it's not much of it.
Hmm. Thinker, do you have any thoughts?
I would just like to get caught up. I'm not sure what things you're saying that women are blaming men for, and what you feel they should not be blamed for, and what things you're saying that men don't have access to that women do. Like, can you catch me up to the conversation that you had last week?
Yeah, I think to really qualify my statement, I think to the extent, right, would you both agree with the statement, patriarchy doesn't allow women in the workplace, treats them as property, if we really look at the Bible and the laws, right? That's kind of the roles they're forced into as a very, very short synopsis.
That patriarchy does not allow women in the workplace, or did not?
Yeah.
Well, there are
did
women.
Does not, etc. Like, if we assume that what it wants, like the roles of it, that's what it was trying to encourage.
I don't think that it doesn't want them in the workplace, but I think it wants men in leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, even then, right? Like, it prescribes kind of some roles, and that, right, if you don't fit into those roles, there's stigma. And I think also the roles women are forced into put them in a power down position, which is why I think women get the worst of it in patriarchy, no question.
So what I think is, it is sort of like the patriarchy hurts everyone conversation. Because I do think, I do see the parts of where men are really struggling to find their place in the world and are struggling with the expectations that are given to them as men. And I think that that's completely valid and fair. And I think where we kind of were.
Could you be more specific on that?
On which part?
Just like the struggles as you would define them. Because, like, those aren't the struggles I really identify as a man.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I would like to hear what struggles you identify with, but I think where I see them is because women are in the workplace, outperforming men in many circumstances, more educated than men now. Like we are receiving more college degrees than men in the United States, very marginally, but that's what the stats are. Now the role of men used to be provider, and so everything else sort of like fell underneath that. And now most homes require dual income, and women are also often outperforming men. So we're in a unique place where so much of the value of a man in like a very, very traditional, this is like with no nuance available to us, but very traditional format is their value has completely changed. And so now they have to sort of like reevaluate what they contribute to a household, what they contribute to the people around it. And then the other part of it too is all of the stuff of like the boys don't cry of it all, like that kind of conversation, which makes it so that men don't feel comfortable expressing how they feel without having some level of backlash, either from their fellow man or from other people who are also sort of subscribed to the patriarchal standard and are wanting to sort of share those same feelings. Like there are many women who I think are still sort of patriarchy pilled, who will say that they want, quote, a real man, and a real man doesn't do this, this, and this, like that sort of stuff. That's my sort of perception of it.
Yeah, and I just want to add too, I think because the patriarchy defines what is beautiful or desirable to women, It's men who decide that. And we're right now reading a book about Roman culture called Sex, Sexuality in Rome. And the men, because the women didn't have a voice, the men decided, what was considered handsome, moral, fashionable, for and attractive to women. And so
Oh yeah.
even today, men are still defining that for other men and not really listening to what women want. And I think that adds a lot of pressure too, right? Like I heard you say, you're socially awkward. Um, I, I'm pretty sure that has been defined by primarily men, but also women by adopting what men say is attractive for men or cool for men to do, or for how men should speak or carry themselves publicly. There was a video of a guy who lifts weights, and he was so mad because he was like, "Who told us women wants a six pack?" He's like, "All I get in my DM are other men. How did you do? You look good. You look good." It's because other men told you that's what women want. And
Yeah.
then
Honestly,
so many women stitched his video and was like, "I will take the beer belly as long as they listen to me when I speak. They're willing to spend time with me. They want the same things that I want. I would take a beer belly over a six pack any day because that's what that woman wants." And so I think too that the patriarchy adds extra pressure to men to perform in such a way that other men think is acceptable instead of listening to everybody in the system.
certainly. And hey, do you want to? I feel there's something so weird now on the call. I feel much more sympathy and empathy than the last time I called in.
Say
I'm
more
not
about
sure if that's
that.
because, well, I don't know if I built an ethos or if what's going on. Because I feel like the default approach to any man saying like man's rights, whatever, like those are all dog whistles for misogynists, whatever, like men's right activists. It's like, I would like to use the term if we kept to what the words actually mean, but I think all three of us understand here it's a dog whistle for, different kind of actions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I also think like there's one statement I feel I really, really disagree on is this the term of like, I don't remember how you said it. Can you remind me of just like saying individual responsibility or like saying men need to take individual responsibility or like, how did you phrase that
Personal
again?
responsibility, maybe? Personal
I'm sorry?
responsibility? Did I say personal
Yeah.
responsibility?
Whatever the case, but do you say like that's what they need to do?
Well, I think everybody needs to. Like
certainly.
no one is immune to that. No one. So when it comes to and I'll give you the added context of I am a very naturally solutions oriented person. Like I can only be in conversation about, things that are wrong for so long before my next thought is, well, how do we fix it? So when it comes to how we fix it, I do think that there has to be some level of personal responsibility in that men created this system. And so men have to stand alongside each other and take personal responsibility in taking that system apart. Like it cannot be a conversation of, women have to. So actually, if this is even more added context, it reminds me of when we had a conversation on Chewed Gum, like a long time ago now, when Promise was on the show with us, and we had this whole conversation with this guy who was like, it's so hard for men to get dates, and women's standards are so high, and they expect this like level of man, and then they get that guy and he just fucks her and leaves, and so they want to go for these like nines and tens and they treat them like shit anyway, and then all of the like nice guys, good guys don't even get any of the attention, whatever, this whole spiel.
Yeah, r/nice guys, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So this whole spiel. And so then we get to the end of the conversation when I said, okay, so what what is your solution? What do you think that women are supposed to do? So what are we supposed to do with all of this information? And he went, well, they have to lower their standards. And I was like, okay. So like, that's what when I say personal responsibility, it means women should not be required to lower our standards. We shouldn't be required to be constantly reaching down to help men figure out things that ultimately women figured out on their own. Like we figured out how to better our mental health by going to therapy and not have so much of a stigma around that. And we figured out how to rely on our community in a different way so that we can, get more support with childcare or, whatever it is. Like that kind of stuff those are things that women created. Those are values that women sustain. So when we talk about this kind of stuff, when we talk about like what is the solution, that's where the personal responsibility part comes into play.
Okay. I think then this really draws on my question. So I will say pretty much I don't disagree with the truth value of pretty much everything you said.
Okay.
Like the truth of what you are suggesting, 100% accurate. Like no disagreement. I think the problems I necessarily had is that is terrible advice to give. Not because of the truth value of it, it's just the mechanics of giving that advice. To have a person actually listen to it, it's a bit wonky, and I also feel like it's a bit stigmatizing.
Why stigmatizing?
Yeah, can you explain that?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
The only reason I say that is if it's saying you need to take responsibility. It is implying that men are irresponsible, especially when you just talk in such generals.
They are. You want to talk about them? Listen to it. Consider it this way. When we've done research on how people are feeling in terms of loneliness, men and women rate their loneliness the same. When we talk about loneliness, we talk about a male loneliness epidemic only. It has somehow become everybody else's problem. It's like the way that culturally this conversation has evolved is allowing men to not take responsibility in what the solution is. It is relying completely on women lowering their standards, changing the conversation that we're having, instead of, okay, let's see, like, what's our part in this? Like, when have you ever heard somebody talking about, when have you ever heard a man talking about the male loneliness epidemic where they said, what's our part in this? Like, how do we turn this around from the inside? It's rare. And even when you talk about like what's happening in the red pill movement, all of it is shirking responsibility. It's all the women are whores. All the women don't know what they're talking about. They all want to, date these 9s and 10s. Like all of it is releasing responsibility. It's not taking it.
So again, I feel like you're arguing for the truth value of what you're saying. And I am not disagreeing with the truth value of what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, and I think oh my God, I just realized one of my earrings is gone. That's so funny. I also understand, and this is why, like, I don't know if you remember when I brought up the phrase personal responsibility. I said, everyone hates this phrase. I've used it in coaching over and over again. I've, had this conversation with friends. Everyone fucking hates when I say this, but I really firmly believe it's true, that personal responsibility is incredibly important to make big changes like this. So I know that like the perception of saying personal responsibility is not so good. I get that. And I don't think that like I don't lead with that foot. But when you call in and this is the conversation we're having, like that is ultimately like that's what it is. But when having those conversations with other men where it's like, let's find a solution together, it is more nuanced than just being like, well, you need to take personal responsibility, because obviously that's not going to land well.
I would like to know, Nathan, like you say that it's stigmatizing and making it sound as if men are irresponsible. And so that would mean that you're saying that men are not irresponsible when it comes to the patriarchy. And so, like, are there times where you
No,
could
I
say,
wouldn't agree
well,
with that statement.
well, she was saying that men need to take personal responsibility within the issues of the patriarchy, right? Like for establishing
Yeah,
the patriarchy and
and
upholding
again,
it.
I have no issue with the truth statement of any of that.
Right. I understand. But when she says that men need to take responsibility, you push back and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. That's like you're saying men are irresponsible, right? That was your stance. That was your response, right?
I, would you not agree that it implicitly implies men are irresponsible?
As far as taking responsibility for the patriarchy, that I do think that men have not taken responsibility for the patriarchy. And so what I wanted to ask was, like, have you seen men take responsibility for that? And in what way have you seen them
So
take responsibility for the problems within the patriarchy, the harm that it causes men and the harm that it causes women and children?
yeah, so like, do I have specific names? No, and in my small way, I really want to try to, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the fundamental issue that I'm necessarily having a lot of with these calls, and I feel it's super, super subtle, is what's his name? Is it Tim Walt? Just disgusting person by his views, that is. Disgusting views. But I sometimes get sound bites of him where he's like, he just says, right, men feel left behind and disillusionment. And I feel like to some of that extent, you would say, interpreting that, and I think men do interpret it this way, men don't have the advantages of their subservient way for any of that garbage. That is not the
But
argument I make when I say I really see where that connects with people.
I agree that it connects with people, and I don't think that it's about being subservient, like with the women around them no longer wanting to be subservient. I think what it is men are having an identity crisis right now. I think that there has not been space for men to create community with each other. So there's no one to lean on. There are very few positive male role models, and you know, men's emotions are not encouraged and fostered. But all of those things, it's like there's only so much that I can do to fix that. Like the call is coming from inside the house. And what I think is part of this conversation that that like gets the sigh is it's not the answer you want to hear. I think that what's happening is it's sort of a yes and. Yes, I understand 100% that men are in a really tough spot, and it is not my job to fix it. The best that we can do is be supportive. Like, and I'm happy to be supportive of people who are wanting to change. Like, if you called and you said, men are in a really shitty spot, and I don't really know what we should do, or whatever, and let's have a dialogue about like what the next steps are. Then yeah, I guess we can have that conversation. But I think it still is like the onus is on men, largely because uh men don't listen to women. We've been telling men for the longest
Okay.
time what we're looking for.
Okay,
Hold on.
I haven't
think
got a lot to talk, if that's okay.
I'm,
And I think that's a
I'm
really
sorry.
good thing to nail on.
I just want to add, it sounds like the right answer would be like for men is for women to have empathy for the problem men created. So it's like, oh, you picked up an anvil and dropped it on your toe intentionally. I'm so sorry that you did that. How can I fix it for you?
So
Like,
yeah, you're blaming.
that's what it sounds like. Because men definitely picked up the anvil, looked at their toe, and said, okay, and dropped it. right?
Okay.
When with creating I'm sorry, like please don't cut me off.
Oh, my apologies.
Thank you. With creating this patriarchal system, it, as Alyssa said, it does harm everyone within the system, including the men who created it. Because now, right, it's very hierarchical, right, and the men, even the men at the top, are losing their shit, trying to get a grasp on the power that the patriarchy once provided them. They're feeling insignificant, and then that causes them to then punch down, right, in order for them to reestablish or fix the cracks within the foundation of the system. And then there are men, you know, within the different levels of the system who are being punched down on, and you're feeling insignificant because you're trying to live up to the status, the criteria that the men at the top have set for you to live by, and that are damn near impossible for you to live by, and you're feeling insignificant. You're feeling like not a man. And then there are those of us at the bottom, the women and children, below all of y'all, and we're looking up and we're seeing the cracks in the foundation. But then when we're trying to say to you, hey, look at that crack, look at that crack there, but this is how we break out of here, bust through that crack and let them motherfuckers at the top fall. It sounds like we're nagging you. It sounds like we don't value you. It sounds like, we're not hearing you, because what you're trying to do, you're trying to live according to, this patriarchal norm. And so when we say, hey, you built the system, you upheld the system, you ignored the issues in the system, take responsibility. It sounds like men want us to say it in a funny voice, a nurturing voice, and then at the same time say, how can I fix it for you? How can I do the work? And to a lot of men, that sounds like nagging. That sounds like not listening to you, not having empathy. But I agree with Alyssa. Like, the only thing we can do is say, hey, here's the problem, fix it.
Okay. So like
we could empathize with you, and I can
but
hear
you can't.
you. Yeah, we do.
Like, I don't think like anyone feels empathetic, like feels like you understand them if you blame them. Especially for like most young men who have like you said, they're getting outclassed every way in the younger generations. And I feel like I have some explanation for that. I don't think I've ever gotten to. And I don't disagree that I think everyone needs to take responsibility to just be a better person and to get rid of rules and roles that society has put on us that are just not serving anyone at this point.
What do you want to do with it? Would you want to just sit and complain about it? If you don't want to take responsibility, if you don't want to use your privilege as a man within the patriarchy, your proximity to power within the patriarchy, to get rid of the thing that's hurting you, what do you want to do? Do you just want to sit and complain about the patriarchy hurting you?
I feel like that's another assumption too. So all men have power over every woman. There's no other sectors of privilege where some women can be better than some men.
You don't answer questions. I know that much. Like I ask, what do you want?
Can you restate the question, please?
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want to do? If you, as a man, right, who have privilege within the patriarchy, right? I didn't say you have the same level of privilege as someone who, has is in of the 1% or whatever. But you, as a man, have privilege within the patriarchy. You have proximity to power. Like, if you don't want to use that space and that privilege to fix the thing that's harming you, what do you want to do? Just sit and complain about it? What do you want to do?
Like, again. So, look, the thing I really want to do with it I want to bring more men along to a left-wing question. I want to do it through compassion and empathy. I want to, like, what power you think I have? Like, I feel like it's really begging the question of, like, I get you. There are some disadvantages women have over men on whole. But, like, to assume I have that power to make the change more than what resources you likely have to make that.
Nathan, but men won't listen to us if we try and have this conversation with them. And honestly, us having this call, like, we've been on this call now for a half hour. I think the first time was also a half-hour long call. I'm telling you what I think should be helpful, and you don't want to hear it because it's not the answer you want to hear. So why would I assume that
What's the answer I want to hear?
I think the answer.
It sounds like you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it sounds like you intentionally want us to get mad at the patriarchy and blame you for it. Like, it's like you're intentionally not wanting to understand or hear what we're saying, and then you ignore our questions or our points, and then jump to something that would otherwise make us say something that you could say, oh, see, now you're blaming me. Now you're saying I'm misogynistic. Now you're blaming me for the all the problems of women. It feels like you are intentionally trying to drive the conversation that way.
How it's not saying all men are irresponsible, not blaming men?
She did not say those words.
No one said all men are irresponsible. Like, I think that the culture around the patriarchy lends itself to men not needing to take responsibility. And like you see it in the red pill content. That's like the whole thing. And I think that when you asked what answer I think you want to hear, and I'm gonna share what I think it is, knowing full well that I do think that, like, for you, this conversation is deeply emotional and tied to some level of, like, ego, but not in like a jerk, like Andrew Tate ego way, in like a deep, like, emotional sense ego. Like, I think it hits there because it is very personal to you, and it's part of, like, developing your personal identity as, like, a young man, and etc. What I think that the only answer that you would accept from us is one that allows you to live in a place where you are the victim. And if you want to do that, you can, but that doesn't lend itself.
That argument?
That doesn't lend itself to progress. So I 100%, I've said it a million times, I have empathy for the situation that men are dealing with. I absolutely do. I agree with you that there needs to be better support on the left for men, but that has to come from other men. Other men on the left have to be making better, positioning themselves as role models in a better way. Like, I don't see a place for women in this conversation because I don't think that we will be listened to.
Nathan, I think just this conversation alone is an example of where men have privilege to not take responsibility. Like you say, I don't think that I should have to take responsibility for participating in the patriarchy or benefiting from a system that was built to prioritize my gender. Yeah, like the fact that you can just decide that you don't have to participate in that, or you shouldn't have to, or that women shouldn't look at you to take responsibility is privilege that you are either aware of and are, fucking around on this call, or you are oblivious to because of the social awkwardness or, you know, the I don't know. I feel like you're doing this on purpose, but the very fact that you can say, I don't think that I should have to, like, yeah, the
I
thing that
didn't say that.
you said that you don't think that we should be saying that you should participate and take a responsibility
Yeah,
for,
so I
yeah,
don't, you
that's you shirking
fundamentally don't understand my
responsibility.
point then, if that's what you think I'm trying to say.
Well,
I
those were
may be
your
bad at
words.
communicating it, but that is not my point.
Your point was that by saying that men should take personal responsibility for building the patriarchy, you then pushed back and said, whoa, that's like you're saying all men don't take responsibility. And then when I asked you questions, you said, I don't think that I should have to. So then I said, well, what do you want to do? Right? So the very fact of you even being able to say, for you even being able to push back and say, whoa, you're saying men don't take responsibility. That's privilege. And then I think that because we are empathetic to mental health for men and we understand that the patriarchy does damage the mental health of men. And I think Alyssa, along with myself, uh, advocate for men to seek therapy and for them to open up about their emotions and talk more instead of, allow themselves to cry. Like we are empathetic to those things. I think that you, as a man who has been damaged by this system, could you manipulate and use that empathy as a way to shirk responsibility um, for your
What?
part in taking down this harmful system. Like I don't know that you recognize your privilege even in this conversation.
Oh my God. Okay. If
I
I can
think,
just take a second.
sure, yeah. I think um to do
So
to do this kind of work,
could
like
could
the
I
self
could I
the
get
self
a word?
work, like I think there almost has to be some like separation of when you're talking about men as a whole, how we're going to have solutions, all that kind of stuff. There has to be some level of separation between that and you sometimes. Like I think that you're taking all of like the generalizations that we've shared as personal things about you. I don't know you. I don't know what you take responsibility for or not responsible. Like I don't know you, so it's not, it's not personal. But I don't know. Do you have anything you want to share, Nathan?
I feel there's one thing I connected with that feels super rich. Um, Something that thinker, is that correct? Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, thinker. That I am using my privilege to seek empathy.
I did not say that.
I thought you said I was using my privilege to then seek empathy to not take responsibility.
No, I said because of women recognizing that men have been harmed by this system and therefore need to seek mental health and need to be heard, get in touch with their emotions, men could then use that empathy to shirk responsibility and emotionally manipulate women, is what I said. And I said, I don't think that you recognize that even right now in this conversation, that it is a privilege for you to say, I don't think that I should be held responsible. I don't think that you should say that I should take personal responsibility for this system.
I think I should take responsibility, but again, you still don't understand my point. I don't even think I got to articulate it.
Well, okay. Well, we've been on the call
The
for 38
mechanic,
minutes. So
I know, and I don't even think I got 2 minutes of talking in, except at the beginning. So
that's not true, Nathan.
okay, then that could be a mischaracterization.
I think it's because you're like living in it. It's harder to see, but do you want to share? Let's I don't want to give too much more time because I want to make sure we get to other calls, but I do want to hear what your like main point is that you feel like you haven't expressed yet.
Okay, well, like if we're going to end, I have to make a different one.
Sorry, if you what?
If we're ending, I'd have to make a different one.
No, I want to hear
And someone in the
your
chat saying that I don't listen, I think that's fairly right. That's part of my social awkwardness.
Don't pay attention to the chat. I want you to give your original point that you said you didn't feel like you got to that point, because we can always continue the conversation if we want to, but I want to just give you the opportunity to share what that is, because you were feeling like you didn't get to share that.
I'm just trying to think. So men are using that empathy for their struggles to not take responsibility, or is that another failure to listen?
Do you pick out negative words and put them in order to deprecate, like to make them sound negative towards you, like because you took those words and put them in a sentence that I did not say, and then
and it is a failure of me to listen.
Right, like you
so
added it.
I think you're very in.
I need to take responsibility in the context that, yeah, I am a failure to try and derive this message.
Are you crying?
Yes.
I think, Nathan, here's what I think is happening. I think that this is a deeply emotional conversation for you because you're navigating really, really hard things. And I think that you are in a place where you're recognizing there's sort of like a cross section of the parts where, like, the work that you're trying to do is really fucking hard. It is hard to look at a situation always, no matter what it is. I'll tell you, I've done this before. I had like a very, very big, tough therapy situation like a year and a half ago, and it was so fucking hard. But I took responsibility for things that I've never taken responsibility before. And for in that moment of time, it like broke me to do that. But when you do that, you get control back over the situation. Like, think of it this way. And I think I explained this in the first call. Think of it this way. When I say that I think the responsibility is important, it's important to take. The reason is because ultimately, if you say, Nathan, listen, this is the guy's responsibility, we got to figure this shit out. You then put yourself in a position to say, how do I connect with the men around me so that we can build stronger community? How do I platform people that I know are really good mentors for men? Like, all of these things are available to you when you move out of being in a victim place, which is hard because it's emotional, and it feels good, and it feels easier to live in a place where the hurt lives, because it's comfortable there, you know? So
sorry, my talk goes to someone else. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think, Nathan, that your heart is in the right place and you're navigating something very fucking hard. And I support you in exploring it, and seeing, like, seeing it through. Like, I think truly you getting to this point in the conversation and feeling like frustrated and emotional is important. Like, that's important. It's something for you to look at and like sit with. And that is, you've gotten further in this journey than most men have, because you got here. Does that make sense?
I got here because I'm privileged to have the experiences I had and the cognition I have to know that those things are wrong.
That those things are, sorry, what was the last word you said?
That those things are wrong. Like, fundamentally, I believe most people are too stupid to really get to this point. And stupid is far too strong of a word. I think just far too ingrained in roles, far too stuck with what they learned as children. And then fundamentally, what boys learned as children biases them against therapy.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
I think a lot of things as well. At the end of the day, I still don't think that a man turning 18, hearing they should take responsibility for the patriarchy, like, as far as I understand, that's like most of them interpret that. I interpret that as, oh, I did this.
But I don't think you need to take responsibility for the patriarchy. I think that you can take responsibility for what is the self-work that you can do. How can I support this exploration? Do I start therapy? Do I start like creating better, stronger community around myself? Do I notice that I have a friend who is misogynistic or is talking, terribly about somebody else, and how can I step in and be an active participant in that? That's what I mean by like taking personal responsibility. It's like you have to make situations like this that are so painful, it's a sign to you that it's important to you. So make it important to you in ways that can mean something not only to you, but to other people. And that's really that's the heart of all of it. Like, I agree that you can't just go up to like an 18-year-old boy and say, you have to take responsibility for the patriarchy. And I would never do that. What I would say to them is, you're allowed to feel affected by this whole process. And you also, nobody gets to adulthood unscathed. Everybody is going to have to go through some process because you can't make your own shit everybody else's problem. You can only live in like the sort of victim-y space for so long because ultimately like the world is going to play ball whether you want to or not. So I want you to be in a place where you feel like you can play ball. And the way you do that is by saying like, I'm really hurt by this system and this fucking sucks. And I'm going to find a way to turn it around. I'm going to find a way to impact my community. Or even if that feels like it's too much, I'm going to find a way to turn it around for me, for Nathan, so that I stop the pattern. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to come onto the show and think that like the message at the end of the day is like all men are victims, because that's not the point I'm trying to convey. The point is the change lies with the men. It has to. Unfortunately, it has to, because women can't do it. They don't want to listen to us. And we also it's, we don't understand your experience the way that you do.
I feel like a lot of what you said, though, has really been putting on a lot of theory and hypothesis to what the experience of men are in a rather negative light. And not that I don't think it's true.
Well, I mean, how else could I do it, right? I mean, how else could I? And I also, like, the stuff that I'm saying is from my perspective as a person who's like on the receiving end of men around me. But this is why it's like, I want you to feel empowered to work on this stuff on your own, because you do know. Like, fuck my hypothesis, you do know, because you live in this every day. So, take the feeling that you have, like the overwhelm, the hurt that you have, and turn it into something that supports what you want at the end of the day. Like, at the end of the day, like you have more influence and power in this than you think you do.
Is a positive stereotype still not a bad thing?
Is a positive stereotype not a bad thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's the positive stereotype that you're talking
I think
about?
the most classic example is like Asians are good at math.
Oh, I see. No, I mean, a stereotype is a stereotype. It's a generalization that's, you know.
So like, yeah. Yeah, I think that's a new hypothesis, actually.
What's the new hypothesis? And then I want to get your like final thoughts so we can try get to another caller in here too. But what hypothesis?
This isn't the place where men are going to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
This is like actually, I think, the worst format, and that it really just does galvanize the division that keeps happening.
Calling into a show like this?
Yeah, because I think genuinely at the heart of it, what men need most at this day and age, that I think everyone deserves, is to feel like the people who's giving them advice cares about them.
Nathan,
like,
I'm gonna put it to you this way.
That like
Babe,
men don't feel like anyone cares about them.
Baby,
like,
listen to me, okay? Nathan, listen to me. Listen to me. I have been on this call with you now for 51 minutes this today. I was on a call with you for 30 minutes last week. Do you honestly think I don't care about you? I've spent the last 10 minutes of this call trying to get you on board because you're feeling very emotional, and I do care. So this is where we end up butting heads a little bit, because I have spent this time with you because I do care. And if I didn't care, I would say, fuck you, the patriarchy is the reason, you deal with it yourself, and I would have hung up the phone. But instead, I've been on the phone with you for probably close to 2 hours over the past two episodes of Chewed Gum, and yet you're in a place where you've turned around and said, I don't care. So you understand how first of all, that's frustrating for me, because I have now dedicated an enormous amount of time on a show where we normally take calls for much more brief periods of time. And you have interpreted this as me not caring. So that kind of hurts my feelings. I'm not going to lie. That makes me upset. And that also feels, again, like a very victim-y place to be, because we're not giving you the conversation that you want to have. You're interpreting it like I don't care. If I don't care, we would not be on this call for as long as we have.
The reason I feel you don't care is I hear so much blame, and maybe I'm just projecting. Maybe I'm just projecting what I feel the world puts onto me. Sure, fine. It's a victim mindset. I think all in all, I think most of what I've learned is that I suck and that I gotta fix it.
Come on, Nathan. No. I'm not doing this with you, Nathan. No. That's not, no. You did not listen to anything I said or anything that Thinker said, if that's what you took from this. Because I just spent, again, the last 10, 15 minutes with you saying you are worth more than this. This is something that hurts for you, which means it hurts for other people, which means you have the power to make a difference here. How are you interpreting that as you suck? That makes no sense, Nathan. I think, honestly, if you want to, I'll tell you, I had really great advice that someone gave me in college. When it's something like this, be upset for 10 minutes and no more than 10 minutes. I think we're going to hang up this call. This is going to be my suggestion to you. give yourself 10 minutes to de-escalate and like be upset for 10 minutes. And then I think you should listen back to the call and really see if that rings true to you, that we don't care and that you suck. Because that is not even close to what the conversation was. And I do care. And that's why we've had this conversation for as long as we have. And I will always welcome you back to call whenever you want to.
Okay, I accept what you say. My final point and my fundamental point is people don't really feel cared for. People won't really listen to people who don't feel like understand them. And I did a poor job, I think, of portraying what I wanted. I did a poor job of listening.
I think you're feeling very emotionally activated by this conversation, which is okay.
Most certainly.
And it makes sense.
And these are things I just need to work on. And this is, right? This is the crucible. This is the test.
Yeah.
And I was not responsible to that test. I have failed, and I need to learn.
I wouldn't take it as fail. It's just that you're taking another step in it. And it's going to be steps and steps and steps until you feel different. And that's just what it is. But you're 26 years old and you're in these conversations now. Don't abandon it when it gets hard. Honestly, it's like leaning into the skid. You're from Canada. You know about leaning into the skid or driving into the skid. Drive into the skid a little bit. And
I totaled the car that
my God.
way.
Shit, really? Is that advice not good?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, okay, then maybe take it metaphorically and not literally. But
I'm pretty sure it is correct because it's much like drifting. I'm pretty sure that's what I would have been more successful. I don't think it's drive in. I think you gotta like pretend you're drifting and not like try to correct to go straight or something. But I'm speaking out of my ass at this point.
Girl, that's okay. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna let you go, but you're welcome to call back again and chat with us. I appreciate your vulnerability. I think that's very important, and I know that this is like a deeply emotional topic for you. So I appreciate you wanting to have it here.
For sure. Okay. No, you have better things to get on to, so. Have a good one.
Bye, Nathan.
Bye.
Oh, that is tough.
I don't know, Alyssa. Like, I feel like he turned you into his victim. Like, there was a lot of Darvo there.
Yeah.
Like he kind of made this whole call turn into doing exactly what he needed it to do, so that you, like, even at one point you called him baby, and I think that's what he needed, right? Like he was looking for that, and he wasn't trying to hear what you were saying. And like when I asked him earlier, it's like he needed the call to go that way. I'm all for men's mental health. I'm all for, having empathy for the things that the harm that the patriarchy has caused men. But that level of manipulation, that's top tier manipulation that we just experienced right now. And like the reason I didn't say anything, because if I had said what I wanted to say, as far as like pointing out the tactics, it would have carried on, and he would have taken it deeper. But like, he's so good at turning people who try to hold him accountable into the perpetrator and making himself the victim. And he seeks for the opportunity to be the victim, even to the point to where he orchestrates his own sentences. Like he combined some of my words with some of the chat's words to make his own sentence, to make himself the victim. And he did not want to leave. And his last statement was, "I guess I just suck." I guess, to let you know that he put you on the hook, so that when he calls in next time, you're going to feel sorry for him again, and you're going to do it all over again, right? Like it just felt so. I don't know, like it. I'm all for helping men work through and deconstruct the issues through the patriarchy. But like I said, there is opportunity for men to take that advantage and manipulate women who really and genuinely empathize with men and want to help men through this. I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit triggered with that because
No, and that's fair. I think honestly, like the conversation that Nathan ultimately needed to have. Also, sorry that I changed locations briefly. My dog is fucking harassing me, so I'm just putting a pee pad down for her because she will not leave me alone. But I think that ultimately the conversation that Nathan should have is with a therapist, because I think that's what he needs. Like, this is not a conversation about like debating or, like that was not that. What he needs is emotional support. And like, ultimately, when it comes down to conversations like that, I try really hard to give like some level of grace, because I don't think that he's viewing it as emotional manipulation, even though I think you're right.
I don't think manipulators do. But I get it. That's why I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like
Yeah.
he didn't at that point, like when we got to the point where he was getting emotional, he didn't want and couldn't handle like feedback in any way. At that point, it was like comforting this person so that he's, gonna be okay afterwards. And that's like all I wanted to do. And then it was frustrating that I took so much time to comfort this person, and he still turned around and was like, well, I suck. And it's like, well, no. And like, at what point was that what was being said here? So I hope that he listens back to the call, because he obviously has a lot of emotions involved in it, and I think he like couldn't see or hear it clearly. Like, it just was not going to be there was no way that conversation was really going to go any other way. I think that, being a victim feels better, so that's what he's going to do. Oh my God, Bonnie is harassing me. What do you want from me? She's being crazy. All right, I'm gonna read the shows for next week, or this coming week, and also kind of next week. So what? I don't know if you guys can hear her barking, but she's just standing next to me. Bark. Do you hear her? She's being psychotic. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read. Oh, you know what? Actually, Lux, do you want to do me a favor? Are you able to speak on these calls now? I don't remember. Message me if you can. Okay. Do you want to do me a favor and just read the shows really quickly? And I'm going to take Bonnie to the landing, like literally at the bottom of my steps, because she's being a bitch. And she's just going to keep yelling at me. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I'll be right back.
Okay. Well, I'm Lux, and I'm here for your announcements today, and I wasn't ready to do this right now, so let me pull up the schedule. First of all, y'all should hit the like button. It's quick, it's easy, it's free, and it helps the show. It brings in more people. I haven't gotten any theists calling in yet today, and I would like to, so hit the like button, please, and thank you. It helps a lot. So, after this, of course, you're going to have Calling It Now with Jimmy and Ari later tonight on the Jimmy Snow Show. Then tomorrow, Matt Dillahunty on the Hang Up. I don't remember what his guest is, but he's got a guest tomorrow. You'll be seeing me and Riverboat Jack on TACIS on Thursday, followed by me again with Jimmy Snow afterwards. We've actually got a special Cus I Wanna episode on Friday this week with Godless Engineer and Seth Andrews, so look forward to that. And then we're going to be cycling back around to next week with, I'm not sure if we're doing Devangelicals this weekend on Saturday, but on Sunday, we've got our fully packed Sunday show with Matt and Ian, and then Calling It Now with Jovan and Jimmy, and then Sunday show After Dark with Austin and Paul. That's going to be a fun episode. And next week, Skeptalk has Forrest and Blitz, which is such a fun time on Skeptalk. They are doing Calling It Now earlier in the day with Jovan and Jimmy on Monday. So y'all turn on your notification settings, because We go live almost every day of the week now. So yeah, on this show and the Jimmy Snow channel. How are you, Thinker?
I'm doing good. How are you? I thought you were going to start singing when you first came in. Like when you was like, I don't know.
I
You
do have a little sing-songy quality to my voice sometimes. It's too dry for me to be busting out the tunes.
But that's what people tell me about when I talk too, that I have like a singing cadence when I talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of expressive lilt in the way that I talk, but then the actual vocal quality of my voice, sometimes people tell me that I sound like a robot, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't have
What?
both of those things.
No, you have a very nice voice.
Thank you. I worked on it a lot. Oh, the super chats are coming in. Oh, yeah. By the way, everybody, we will read super chats of $5 or more at the end of the show. We still have about 45 minutes before we're going to start taking super chats, but you can get them in now and we will read them later. Speaking of singing, I've really been wanting to watch The Prince of Egypt again recently.
I've never seen it.
It's such a good movie. I was so about it when I was a kid. I mean, you've got an all-star cast in that movie too. Like Sir Patrick Stewart is in it. Val Kilmer is in it. I can't remember all of it, but hey, Alyssa's back.
Sorry. God, having a senior dog, I swear, is like having a puppy.
A what dog?
Senior. She's 14.
Oh.
So it's like, honestly, it's like having a puppy, except bossier than that.
That's interesting. So the dogs go back to like infant stage the same way elderly people do.
Yeah.
I had a guy say to me on my live yesterday that elderly women are not attractive. Like older women are not attractive unless they have the body of a young woman.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. And so old men who
He
look
said it's
whose
still attractive.
bodies.
Still
Okay.
attractive. But
What?
elderly women, it's like only the elderly women become unattractive when they get older, unless they work out. He's like, they got to work out and they have to have a body of a young woman.
What?
Yeah, it sounds like.
That's crazy.
And then got mad at me and started crashing out because I told him that that's superficial, it's ageist.
Yeah.
And he's opening door. He was like, nobody lusts after an elderly woman or an older woman. I said, like, are you ignoring the women that get violated in nursing homes?
Right. But also, like, I'm so confused as to how this even came, like, at what point in this man's life and in his day did he think about this? Like, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. And also, I think that like women are always doing more for their appearance. It's like you do your hair and the nails and the makeup and all the things, perfume, all these things. How many old ladies do you know who still like wear lipstick and like get their roots done and, wear perfume for holidays and stuff? And like, they still are really taking care of themselves. So that's crazy.
Yeah, it's just misogyny, superficial beauty standards.
God.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Honestly, I'm glad I like got a breather after that Nathan call. That was like very stressful. That like took a
Yeah.
toll. Thank you everyone for being patient with that call because it was a lot. All right, so we have oh, and thank you Lux for stepping in there. Appreciate that. So we have two calls. One is another atheist from Canada. I'm feeling scorned though. And another is a person who is agnostic, from Texas. I think that's close enough to being atheist. So, I think we'll start there and just get like a change in the conversation, and maybe we'll get to circle back to our other atheist from Canada. But I'm gonna pull in Jay calling from Texas. Hi, Jay.
Hey, how you doing? It's good to talk to y'all again.
Hello, Jay.
Yeah.
Hi, likewise.
Yeah.
You have I'm Alyssa, and you have Thinker on the call as well.
Yes. Yes, I remember the last time I called, I talked to both of y'all,
Oh, cool.
I can't remember what subject it was. And also, real quick, the screen caller, Lux. I remember your name now because when she was asking me my information, I could remember the name, and I was like, I know your voice. I know you. So I apologize for that. I remember Luxander.
Yeah.
Yes, I talked to
Yes.
her, or it is her, right? I mean, I don't want to, or was it non?
I use they, them pronouns, thank you.
I can't remember.
Yeah, they, them pronouns for Lux.
They, them for Lux. Okay. Yeah, I talked to them. I think it was the first time I ever called a show like that, and I talked to them and Arden. But yeah, I remember your voice. I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but I was trying to get your name. Lux. Yes. Okay. So that's one thing. Number two is real quick. The last caller, Nathan. I guess he's probably not listening anymore. I don't know if he'll listen to this part, but for whatever he's going through, I guess he just has to, I would tell him, believe to achieve. First, believe it can be done, and then believe that it can be done by you. That today is a new chance to do better than yesterday. So hopefully, that can do something like that. And then before I get to my topic, the last thing, number 3, I really am impressed at how patient you are and how well you have the temperament that after you have a call that's a little, seems to go either arguing and yelling or whatever somebody, or something this heavy like the last one, the next caller you're able to have a different calm attitude and not still have, that energy of like, oh, what do you want now? But anyways.
Well, I appreciate that. New calls, fresh energy. We get to start over every call.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. There you go. Okay, so I saw that there was a title in this video of religion being toxic for women or femininity or something.
Yeah, the title of this is Religion is Toxic for Women.
Right. I was just feeling like I was telling Lux that I think maybe it feels like it's a very broad generalization, because I'm sure that there's probably certain women that seem to be satisfied or happy in whatever role they are and whatever's happening in their Christian life, for that religion mainly, because that's the main religion I know about. I don't know too much about the others. So I guess in that sense, if they're content and if the guy is treating them correctly, then I guess for them at that point it wouldn't be really toxic or bad, unless, it changes where the guy all of a sudden starts being more manipulative, more restrictive, and she starts to notice that, oh, I don't like this no more, but she's told she has to stay or she's forced into that. If you don't pick the right verses, of course, cherry picking again, but to where just say religion, any religion or religion, no matter to who, all women all the time, would be detrimental. I don't know if that I would say that that's exactly 100% the whole time. What do you think?
Thinker, what are your thoughts on religion being toxic to women and the generalization being too general, perhaps?
I guess I don't know what you mean by too general. Like
I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but I feel like what you're describing, or what I was hearing, is that religion does benefit some women and some women are happy in religion.
Kind of, yeah. I think that would be the easiest, the best. Yeah, I think so. That, yeah, there's certain, there are content and they are looking for some guidance or someone to help them with something, and they found it there. Even if it's comfortable, if they grew up with it and they just decided to accept it, but they're okay. Again, as long as it doesn't turn extremely, violent and oppressive. But then that's, again, the point of view, right? Because whatever I might think is oppressive then they're going to say, what are you comparing it to? To someone who's holding somebody hostage? That's not that bad, so this is okay. And, well, but yeah, basically, I think you kind of got it, that it just sounds like a quick thing, like, hey, religion is toxic for women. Well, are you saying for all women all the time? Even the ones that seem happy, they'll be happier out of it, or they're secretly unhappy and they're just being oppressed?
Like, I think the fact that we're talking about...
You're thinking... Uh-huh. Sorry, go ahead.
I think when we're talking about... I'm sorry. I don't know. Do you want me to respond? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay. I think when we're talking about religion as it pertains to the benefits or mental effect that it has on women, we are saying that religion is toxic to all women that engage with it. There are women who don't do anything in life but what the Bible and their pastors tell them to do. Go to church, get married, have children, be a grandparent. Go to church, get married, have children, be a grandparent. And those women, one, put themselves at a disadvantage because they are financially dependent on the person that they are married to. They don't know the world. They have not traveled. They don't know how to engage or, survive on their own if their spouse dies. Their plan of survival is to marry again, which the Bible says. If they're under 60, make them marry again because they're still, they still have their divine ability, so to speak, referring to sexuality, make them married again. They're not a true widow, right? And so that's what a lot of women who wouldn't necessarily be the type of woman that would be out in the workforce, traveling, and the toxicity that is that affects those women is different. But what I'm giving you is a picture of the most basic believer, a female believer in the system, and how even that believer is affected by the toxicity of religion, right? She goes to church, she gets married, she goes to church, she takes care of her household, she takes care of her kids, she becomes a grandmother, her husband dies, she has to get married again because she doesn't know anything else. And then, then she starts thinking, well, my life is almost over. I did X, Y, Z, right? I followed the rules. I did this and this. And then there's this depression that sets in, right? She doesn't know herself because she's given herself up for God. She's given herself up for her husband because she's been told that's her duty. She's given herself up for her children. And like that, she's the most basic of, I don't want to call them basic, but like the most obedient, should I say, to the system. And it's still toxic to that person, to that female believer that does all the right things according to it, because she has to give so much of herself away and depend on the men in her life to financially take care of her. And she just has to go from male to male. If that's a husband, if that's a father, if that's a brother, like, yeah, it's very toxic.
Okay. Yeah. So you're trying to, I guess, like say, like in general, mostly the majority, I guess, because I think from what I've noticed in what I grew up in, that things are a little different as to, but yeah, the more years that I've seen with religions and stuff, I see how mostly how that can be the normal thing in a lot of Christian religions, not in many, not in all, because like I said, I think that I know a few and I've experienced of some that don't feel that way and can actually have a good life if they're not married yet, or after, if they have to get divorced, to where they're able to function and find their way. I guess as long as their religion doesn't tell them, hey, you can't work because you're a woman and you have to be married if you're going to be a Christian. And but if that's their choice, then they're free to choose that if they're able to do that, I guess. I don't know, maybe
I
I'm
think
confused.
I think that part of what's also really toxic about religion for women is, like, I was trying to think about my mom, who is religious and I think has a pretty solid moral compass. And so as her time has gone on and she studied the Bible more and more, what's ended up happening is she's finding a lot that is not actually aligned with her ideals. And so I think there's sort of part of it is culturally what's happening, especially she's Catholic. So part of it is what's happening there culturally, where we're seeing a lot of the pro-life conversations. We're seeing a lot of purity culture conversations, women needing to be subservient. The whole trad wife movement has picked up steam. So all of those things are contributing to where she's slowly, I think, starting to feel like there are elements of it where she doesn't belong anymore. So I think part of it is also the way that people will cherry pick and will weaponize the religion will also contribute to it being really toxic. So part of it is the text and people who are going to be really devout to the text, especially people who are fundamentalists, because those are people who are especially interested in traditional roles and subservient people and or subservient women and that sort of stuff. But then there's another part of it that are even the more casual Christians. And those are still people who are showing up at Planned Parenthood with signs of, that have a baby dolphin on them. And they're saying that that's a human fetus and that's what it looks like and all this crazy shit. So, yeah, part of it I think is the text, and part of it is culturally what's happening around religion, especially in the US.
But I think too, the expectations that it put on how a woman should act, right? In society, women shouldn't curse, women shouldn't get aggressive, women shouldn't, they should be ladylike. I had a Christian, a female Christian say to me yesterday morning, don't say fuck, it's not late. No, she said something like, it's not ladylike. You should be a Christian. It's not ladylike. So I asked her, what do you mean?
Yeah.
How is ladylike compared? How is ladylike Christian-like? And she explained it. And I said, so are men ladylike then? Are men Christian-like? Yep. So are they ladylike? Right? And so to define being a pure good Christian and say that's ladylike, I think that's very toxic. And it stops women from being who they really are, and again, knowing who they are, and always trying to please other people and fit into a box because this person says that if you are perceived this way in society, then you're right and pure and you're saved, right? You're the image of God or the image of Jesus. And then if you're someone who does not give a fuck about what the next person, how the next person perceives you, and you do not let people decide whether or not you are quote unquote saved, then you're the devil, you're a demon, and you are the epitome of what is not to be a woman or to be a lady. And I think even that is toxic for women. And we're constantly trying to prove our value and our worth. When the crazy thing is that, human beings with wombs give their bodies so that life could continue, right? And if we did not make that sacrifice, there wouldn't be human beings. But we constantly have to, we then, once we do that, right, we turn around and we give a man credit and call man Savior, Christ, who is a male Savior. The God is a male, he is Savior. And then even within the patriarch, men are over women, that Savior, right? But those of us with wounds are the reason that life continues. If we did not sacrifice our bodies the way we do, and then we got to turn around and beg for society, for humanity to see our value and our worth, and then change who we are and say, hey, look at me. I go to church and I don't curse, and I talk soft, and I don't yell, and I'm not aggressive, and I do this. And so I'm valuable. I'm a woman. I'm a lady. I'm worth it. Like, that's toxic.
Yeah.
And that comes from religion.
Yeah, that makes sense, because that's definitely not unfair for to have to feel like that and to have to do that, or be told to do that. If that's not in your nature, that's not how you feel. If you feel like saying darn it, because I'm not gonna say damn it, then you feel like that and you feel okay expressing that way. Okay, then you go with your group. Unfortunately, that divides people, right? Oh, you're gonna be foul mouth, whatever. You can't come into this house or whatever. But you feel stressed. You need to express yourself. You need to be free to choose. That's how I think. Is all this thing about, like you were talking about, pro-life. Since I grew up in Christianity, I kind of see that, and but it should be free choice, because I'm not in a position to be able to dictate and say that they have to have the child. You can choose to have it. If not, it's up to you with whatever comes your way, rewards or consequences or whatever. You cannot force and tell somebody you must not behave this way once you're an adult. At least I think once you're an adult. When you're a kid, you have your parents tell you what to do anyway. But yeah, as a human being, you have certain rights and dignities and stuff that if you don't want to act that way, if you don't believe in that God, you shouldn't have to feel like you need to do that to survive or to be noticed, right? Like you were saying, hey, look at me, I'm good, I'm quiet, I don't know. Sometimes we get straight, sometimes you got to yell. And you'll yell, and you are good. You're okay, because you have to sometimes. So I guess maybe in my point of view still, I feel like it's probably the person then, perhaps how they take those teachings, whether it's from religion or society or from their parents, as to how they're going to use those or not use those, and how they interpret it, if it's, you know what I mean? I think, because like I said, like with my mom, you brought up, I think your mom, Alyssa, I believe, is religious, right? My mom also is very religious, grew up in Jehovah's Witnesses, and even though she's not fully into it now, she's not practicing, still her values, her beliefs and everything she does came from that, and she hasn't lost that and has not left the faith to say, oh my gosh, I'm free. She took what she can that helped her, and she's doing extremely well, So I don't want to say maybe it's the religion, because I remember in a video, Matt talking about that, oh, so your version of Christianity is the right one and nobody else's. Is like, no, that's not what it is, I guess. But I'm just going from my experience. All I know, my mom was very religious and still kind of is, not like before, but she did not really suffer or have issues. I mean, if I asked her, I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations and trouble that she went through to become independent after she got divorced and everything. And maybe that's probably part of also seeing that she doesn't have to be a follower of man or have to be married. But she didn't lose her religious teachings on how she treats others. And she's never said that it has damaged her, or she sees clearer now that she's not constantly going to the Kingdom Hall and reading the Bible every day. She still believes in God, in Jehovah, in Jesus, and she hopes I do. She believes God is real and everything. So everything she was taught, she still has that with her and in her. She just doesn't attend the meetings. But I don't think the way, I mean, I'll talk to her, maybe I'll ask her, and she might be like, you know what, yeah. But it seems like, no, it wasn't detrimental to her to find, as you described, that they can't really, that it's difficult, really difficult or almost impossible to get a job because they were so much dependent on the man and expected to be married as a Christian that now they're like lost if they get out or if they're divorced. So I guess maybe that's where it's difficult for me to understand that. It's not my experience, I guess. I don't know. Does that make sense? Am I just rambling?
I don't know. I thought you was talking to Alyssa about like your mom and her mom being religious. So, Alyssa, did that?
Well, either one of yeah. Go ahead.
You're on mute.
Oh, thank you so much. What I was gonna say is that, yeah, I mean, the older generation of women who are like sort of navigating their religion is always going to be so interesting, I guess, because their experience with it is going to be very different to ours. I don't know that like if my mom ever stops being super involved in the church, if she'll ever be like, I'm free. I don't know that she'll ever have that experience either. But but I'm sure there's some level of liberation that both your mom and maybe one day my mom will feel when they're not so deeply involved in the church and like not so intense of believers. But we won't really know until they want to share that with us. But we are coming up on the end of the show, and I want to try and get to one more call before we go. Do you have any other final things you want to share before we move on to our last call of the day?
No, I don't think. In fact, I was about to mention that. I remember Lux saying they were coming close to the end, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm gonna tell them that whenever y'all feel like it's enough, so that you can get the other caller in. I'm fine with that because, yeah, I'm not here to force you, or I'm not gonna yet change completely with what you say, and I'm not gonna make you change for what I say to my side. But I respect you, and I think that's it. I appreciate your time, and Thinker, thank you very much, and yeah, Alyssa and Arden. I mean, Lux, Lux. Yeah, you're very informative, very very smart. Thank you very much. That's it for me, I think. Unless you'll want to say something else, but no, I think
we're all set. Thank you so much, Jay. Have a good rest of your night.
Have a good night, Jay.
You too. Thanks. All right.
Oh, shit. Sorry. He was a bit of a rambler, so I didn't mean to hang up on him, but I just didn't know when we were going to get a chance. Oh my gosh. What a crazy day, you guys. Oh my God. At no point has this been a normal chewed gum day, I have to tell you. Holy moly. Okay. We have two calls that are on hold. We have only 30 minutes left of the show, and I want to leave some time for super chats. So, we have another call that is a theist, and then we also have another call who is atheist and wants to talk about like, some gender related stuff. It is a girl, so different vibe. But do you have a preference of which you would like to take?
No, it's up to you. I'm just following your vibe.
Oh, girl, but my vibe has really misled us the whole time.
This is your show, following your vibe.
And look at where our vibe got us. My vibe got us. Okay, so I think because we don't have a ton of time, and normally we would take a theist, but we really don't have a ton of time, and those conversations usually take like a little bit longer, I think. Or I don't know, do you want to tussle and do like a Bible situation?
No, I'm good with whatever call.
Okay, so we'll see. One call I feel like will take more time than we have, and another one will probably be relatively quick. So
I think the gender call fits more in line with the show and your expertise and stuff. So I'm good
Okay.
with
Okay, let's do that. Thank you for making a decision, because I feel like all of my decisions have been yielding a wild result today. Okay, I'm going to pull in Blair, who waited very patiently. Thank you so much, Blair. Hi.
Hi, how's my level?
You sound great.
Sweet.
Thank you so much for waiting so patiently. What did you want to talk about today?
I'm having like physiological symptoms of anxiety, and I'm like during like the back and forth where you're like the theist caller or the atheist caller. I was like,
oh my God, I'm sorry. That must have been very stressful to to like hear us go back and forth. It's like, that's really funny. Okay, so
okay,
give us the topic. I see it's about, we're talking chests. So I want to know what you're thinking.
So and this is, I guess, just the way that I have kind of arrived sort of at this conclusion. I'm a trans femme. So like growing up, and I know a lot of also like cis women experience the same thing. But growing up and being able to have your chest exposed and having that be like normal, and then like you hit a certain age and then it's kind of like walled off as you're like sexualized. And I'd spoken to, I think it was like a year ago. It was very briefly on a Patreon call with Jimmy. Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that there's a reasonable distinction between the public acceptance of feminine and masculine chests. Like, I feel like it should be just as socially acceptable, and it is not currently, obviously. Sorry, I'm trying to get to a point to like tap this, I guess. I've you know, done a decent bit of just having my chest out in public. If I see, like, if I'm at the beach and it's a hot day and there's dudes have their fucking titties out, I can swear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't really see that as any different. I think that obviously there is a difference in how women's bodies are sexualized, but it's also kind of, men's chests are also erogenous zones, and women's chests, they are not first and foremost like a sexual thing. And there's an argument to be made, like, if someone was to say, well, women's chests are inherently sexual and men's chests aren't, then I'd be like, well, they're both erogenous zones. So then the person arguing for masculine chests would then, I feel like the onus is on them.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking free the nip, and I agree, free the nip. And
okay.
I think it's so crazy. Well, it's so crazy that women's bodies are so sexualized. It's even like, if I remember being in grade school and we had rules about how long our shorts had to be and how thick our spaghetti straps, well, we couldn't wear spaghetti straps, how thick our tank top straps had to be, because I mean, ultimately the argument is like, you're going to be distracting to other boys, which is like, okay, disgusting, because because I'm in the 6th grade. Like, what are we talking about? So yeah, women and girls are sexualized, like, always. So yeah, I agree with you. I wish that were the case, but then it's also one of those situations where I would be so worried about the safety of women who decided to just sort of like go with the same rules, you know, barring the legal stuff. But, you know, if women just decided to be topless as often as men were, I would be worried about their safety, which fucking sucks.
Do you mean also from a legal stand? Because, like, as I don't know about in the States, but like here in Canada, that is like a right.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like maybe not in every state in the U.S., but I can't remember what the laws are, honestly. But either legally or socially, like I would be worried about the safety of the people who would try and like push that boundary. But Thinker, do you have thoughts?
I
Thinker,
just,
do you have thoughts?
Sorry.
No, I agree. I think the issue is the culture of the West, and the lack of self-control, and the lack of accountability that our governments have made people who do not respect the bodies of other humans. The lack of accountability they don't make them take. So they excuse or lower sentences for rape or SA, and so that increases the chances that a person who does go out in public who have breasts of getting assaulted by people who have not been taught that breasts are the same as chest on a male body. Because if in other cultures, in other cultures, females walk around without their breasts covered, and the males don't bother them because it's natural, right? And they've just been taught to respect the body of another human, and to not just sexualize them and think that they can just do what they want to do with it. And so I agree. I think free the nip. Like I would be all for free the nip if it wasn't in fucking America. I don't trust America enough to free the nip.
Agree. Unfortunately.
So, there's a couple things there that I think I would like to touch on, if that's all right.
Sure. And then we do have to be kind of quick, unfortunately, but yes, please.
I'm on board with that. I think there's definitely like a large element is sorry, my chest is still holy shit. I need to desensitize myself to this. But like there's a large element of like victim like what was she wearing, whatever, like, oh, she was topless, like, and I think as far as that, there are like safety protocols, like if you're with people, you're in public spaces, obviously the legality is a different thing, and I think that is something that just legislature needs to happen for, which y'all are in a interesting situation right now. I'm hoping that New York is what we see more of here in the next bit. I'm forgetting what the other things were. In as far as I'm aware, and I might be wrong, but like as far as I'm aware, historically in other cultures, especially like pre-colonialism, Abrahamic religions, really, like there was not, we don't have any evidence suggesting that there were cultures where it was like covering women's chests was like enforced, aside from if it was like a climate related thing. If anyone has other information about that, I would be curious. That's pretty much all I've got. Yeah, I respect you guys so much.
When you say, I'm sorry, I know you got to go. When you say no evidence that in America they were enforcing it, or where?
Globally,
where do you say?
Globally, pre-patriarchy,
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely a westernized concept. Like that we've all been indoctrinated into, to believe that we have to cover up, and that we should be ashamed of our nakedness.
But even like women can't even breastfeed in
They sexualize
places,
it.
yeah, without it being sexualized. It's so either sexualized or people will say it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I just it's like, okay, well, is it gross or is it sexy? And like, what are we taught? It's just one of those things where, like, when the response varies so much, it just makes me feel like there's more and more evidence to show that it actually has nothing to do with boobs. It has nothing to do with women, like, and their bodies. It's men on the other end of it sexualizing and creating a system where other women are also having this like visceral reaction of like, that's gross, that's inappropriate, when in reality there's nothing inappropriate about our bodies. Like, it's just our body. And if we didn't have, so I remember like early in chewed gum days, someone called and was asking about like living in a nudist colony. I don't remember if he used the word colony, but like a nudist community. And it was like, if we could ever do something like that in the US. And I had a similar thought as Thinker, where I was like, not here, because it would just be a mess. It would be a safety nightmare.
They don't enforce they don't listen to victims of SA enough, and enforce harsh penalties for people just violating another person's body enough to protect the person to freely express themselves in that way. And granted, SA happens even when a person is completely covered up. SA happens even when it's in a onesie.
Yeah, like it doesn't.
Yeah, but our government just does not protect body autonomy and they don't enforce the, respect of body autonomy enough that I wouldn't trust it, because they just let people get away with it so much. The grace when it comes to that is just sufficient in Jesus Christ. No, the grace is just sufficient when it comes to that.
Oh my gosh, we're losing it over here.
Sorry, I don't want to keep you guys if you're trying to wrap up the show.
We do have to wrap up. We have to get through our super chats before we send everyone over to Calling It Now, which will be in less than 15 minutes. So we're going to run through our super chats and wrap up the show. But do you have any closing thoughts, Blair?
I just I think it's a big cultural shift that needs to happen. And it's like, I feel for myself when I'm especially, I'm living back with my parents right now, very privileged to be able to do that. But when I'm, so I'm kind of regressing a little bit in that way where I'm feeling that shame so much more like physically, where it's kind of difficult to even broach the subject or to, just in the neighborhood, whatever. And I just, I think about the reactions that I would get in terms of like, some people would be like, it was like the spark in their eye, like, and like just the friendliest like greeting and passing kind of thing, as opposed to like someone just sheer animosity or disgust, or like this betrayal that this thing that they were informed about the way that they're allowed to express their gender is now like someone's defying those norms in such an egregious way. But definitely also safety. If anyone's, with a friend in public, fucking, because nobody else is gonna protect you.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Well, thank you, Blair, for calling in and having like a nice, normal conversation with us.
I was like, when you're going back and forth, I was like, I'm a good vibe. Let me.
No, but Blair, I'm so happy we picked this call because we needed the good vibe so bad.
Yes.
You cleansed the feed because oh my God, what a crazy day. What a crazy day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for calling.
For your time, the work you guys do so much. Sorry, I did want to ask Thinker, do you have somewhere that like I can follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me on YouTube at Think Beyond Dogma. And Think is spelled THYNK. So Think Beyond Dogma. And then on TikTok at the letter N, growth.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Look
Bye,
forward
Blair.
to seeing you there.
Bye.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, that was a good call.
It's nice to talk to someone. Chill. That was what an emotional roller coaster today.
My show was like that yesterday, and
Really?
one of my another deconstructionist who's a co-host of my show had to come up, made us laugh. Like I wanted to cry so bad because the conversation was so emotional, and it was one of those like excusing child essay for spirituality type conversations. And it was so emotional. And I said, I need to go put water on my face. I need to do something. And she came up and we had a good conversation. She cleansed the whole vibe and we laughed. And that's sometimes I'm grateful for those types of calls, like what Blair did. They just cleansed the whole vibe.
Cleanse the whole vibe. Yeah, it was like, I think the Nathan call was just so heavy and so like what an emotional lift. So, and then I think it was a little hard to like understand Jay's point, which is, whatever. That's not the end of the world.
It was hard to hear him.
Yeah. I think he was like maybe a little like mumbly too. So I like couldn't distinguish everything he was saying. But in any case, Lux putting up the super chats at the bottom, like, hello. And you're right.
I mean, I had to step away and just got back, so I'm glad that I wasn't like, I was like, oh no, did they already just like switch over and I've just been not doing it?
No, I just am yap. I just yap. What are we going to do? You keep us in line. All right. We have $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Alyssa, thank you for recommending Word Slut. I loved it so much. I bought a copy for my niece who also loved it. Without you, I wouldn't know about it. Yay. Cool. I'm so glad you liked it. That's great. I don't even remember when I recommended that, but yay. I'm glad it worked out.
How do I see them? I cannot see them. I can't see the super chat.
They're on. So if you go to our Zoom, do you see the chat that's like the two of us?
Yeah.
Is at the very bottom. Do you see like a black bar at the bottom?
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's so small.
Yeah, I know. It's a little just.
Okay. Let's see. All right. July birthdays are best. Sorry, not sorry. LOL. Mine is the 7th. Happy birthday, Thinker. Happy early birthday to you too, the atheist mechanic. And thank you. I appreciate you.
Happy birthday. AG $9.99 from AG and then a bunch of numbers. The nerds are in the building. We love Thinker. Yay.
What's up, AG? Thank you. I love you back. I can't read what does that say?
Space Barbarian, $5.
I know I'm finna be old. Be old. I'm like,
I'll make it a little bit bigger.
Oh, yes.
Is there a gospel song about Joseph's two dads? Happy Pride, everyone.
That's hilarious. I wish. Michael from Oklahoma, $5. If it walks like a misogynist, comments like a misogynist, and talks like a misogynist, what are people supposed to think? I think that's in reference to Nathan, which is so like, it's so hard because he's never going to view it that way. That's like one of the toughest conversations that we ever have here because I like see some level of both sides, but if it walks like a duck.
Yeah. That level of manipulation is very dangerous. And it's like, I've been a victim of it and it's very, like, it's not safe, and he needs therapy, or else he's going to create more victims.
Yeah.
The atheist mechanic says, not gonna lie, when it comes to dating, I'm scared to even get out there. From a mix of personal experience and reading horror stories on Reddit, I know I should stop reading those, but hey, it's valid. Like, human beings are weird.
So weird. And also, if anything, like the Reddit stories show you that whatever happens on your attempts at dates is probably super normal and fine. And it's a get knocked down 7, get up 8 situation with dating. And like when you think about it in the way that like in an ideal world, you're looking for like one person, if this is what you're looking for one person to like spend your life with. Of course, that's going to be fucking hard. If that were easy, that would be ridiculous. You're trying to find one person to like check all these boxes for you. Of course, it's hard. So you just got to keep putting yourself out there. Otherwise, you won't find them.
I also personally find it a lot easier to stop reading what seem like personal stories on Reddit now that I've realized that most of that is probably somebody's creative writing exercise. It's probably all fake anyway, so you don't have to care. It didn't really happen.
There you go. Period. Yes. 725 Kelly Bean, $10. Nathan needs to go to therapy and work out these feelings with a professional. It's not women's job to make him feel better about them. That is the whole thing that's so funny about all of this. It's like you called into a show that is hosted only exclusively by women to talk about men's issues, and then we're telling you that actually this is an internal issue and you should work on it from the inside. He got upset and then we had to emotionally support him. And it's like
that's what I was sitting here like, did you see me take my coffee go?
Like, it's like the epitome of the call is coming from inside the house.
Yes.
It's just, and I have empathy for him, but holy shit, dude. God. I can't.
Let's see. Michael from Oklahoma. I said earlier that I was pumped to see Thinker for the first time. Here's the early payoff. I doubt there's a more thought out response to Nathan. Right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Mystic Mind Analysis, $5. I am an assigned male at birth, non-binary person. I know I don't experience a lot of the derogatory shit assigned female at birth femme presenting people do. All I do is listen and model my behavior. More people should be like you.
Green
Man.
I can't read that. Hold on.
I'm dying. The face that you're making is so funny. Oh, thank you, Lux.
Green Man Nathan, take a line from Red Green. I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you do. Everybody has to change. $5 from the Atheist Mechanic. Nathan with the mental gymnastics. My glob.
Yeah, I like that. My glob. I'm going to start saying that instead of my god.
My glob is cute.
My glob. Joshua Everett. Wait, can I skip therapy if I call in here and get Alyssa and Thinker to do it unpaid? I saw that come through and I was like, I'm not.
Oh my God. I said in our Discord chat, I was like, I should invoice him at the end of this call.
Yes.
$5 from Michael from Oklahoma. While I've seen divisive callers here, I've seen a lot of people getting new insights and supportive thoughts from Chewed Gum. Unsure what Nathan's on. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But we knew it. Nathan needed the call to keep going.
Yeah.
So he could get that feeding of that stroking his victim mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes I think too, like when they do that, they didn't get it from their mom. They didn't get it from girls at school. And so they seek it in this type of manipulative, like making people feel sorry for them. And so they're like, oh no, it's okay. Like, Legally Maud. I'm either getting egg or sociopath vibes from Nathan. What's an egg?
Yeah, what's an egg?
It's a trans person who hasn't realized that they're trans yet.
Oh,
That's interesting.
very interesting.
I'm gonna have to think about that. $5 from Monkey a Typewriter. Nathan makes me crazy because I was him once. He's an angry young man without the maturity to be responsible for himself. You two dealt with him masterfully. I'm glad that you see yourself in him. What do we do? Because, oh my God.
Bobby Keniston. Nathan is a toxic manipulator. He might now know it. He might not know it, but I know. Sadly, I grew up with it from my dad, and sadly did it myself until I got help. Yeah, like once you experience that type of manipulation and abuse, you can the because it also triggers your trauma, right? Like your experience, but you can like, oh my God, like you can point out the characteristics and the tactics. Yeah.
I feel like it like lights something up in your brain where it's like, I've seen this before, actually. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. Alyssa, thinkers thought it all out regarding the Nathan situation, but points for trying to help and heal men. When he started crying, I was like, what are we doing?
Like, I don't know if that was a part of the manipulation.
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, that's why I just sat quietly. Like, I'm all for men crying. I've had men crying on my show.
Yeah.
And, you know, and we've supported them. Like, had one person call in, he was incarcerated, and he listens to the show while he's in, you know, in prison, but he's working through things, right? And, like, I mean, he cried, we support him. Like, we don't laugh at men crying, we don't laugh at men therapy, but when it's manipulative, it just feels different. And then, like, for me, it has to be called out to say, hey, that's bad behavior and you need to stop that.
Yeah.
Chris Powell, I almost sent a super chat to try and reassure Nathan. Thank you, Thinker, for seeing through his bullshit. I guess the triggers. Like, yeah.
Jedi Quilo? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Emotional manipulators, even when unaware, will turn every interaction with a woman into a free therapy session. I hope you both respect yourselves more than Nathan respects you or your time. That's really it's what we said before. You are saying that women don't care about you, and then I've spent like 2 hours collectively talking to you and emotionally supporting you through this process. In what fucking world am I demonstrating that I don't care?
Right.
What?
Yep. Infidel, when you're used to favoritism, equality may feel like oppression. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Michael from Oklahoma, maybe theists aren't calling today because they saw the show title and they're all saying, agreed, it is toxic to women because we made it that way. Perhaps.
Alias.
Aaliyah
Shana. The other day, I was attacked by a bunch of circus clowns in a parking lot. I managed to fend them off, however, because I went right for the juggler.
Nice. Oh, Aaliyah Shana, I missed you. I haven't seen your name pop up here in a long time. $10 from the Atheist Mechanic. I feel like I should clarify my comment about dating. In my last relationship, I was mentally and emotionally abused, hence my fear of getting back out there in the dating scene. I get that, but I actually wonder, you'll probably have a similar thing where like it should, or I hope not it should, but I hope it like lights up a part of your brain where it's like, I've seen this movie before and I'm out.
But it does make you retreat and not want to, like, you don't, because you have to learn to trust yourself too, to be able to pay attention to those triggers and not, you know, to the desire to want to be with somebody or date just because society says that you should date. So I get it. I've been celibate and single for 7 years because of an abusive relationship. So I totally get it. Perry Form. Wonderful show. You are both amazing. Such wisdom, insight, and patience. Also, happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Eve. Happy Canada Day Eve to you too.
Happy Canada Day Eve. $5 from Michael from Oklahoma. To the claim that this format is bad, this old white guy feels welcomed and grows. My thoughts about it being better for women to stay connected or stay covered. Thumbs down now. Wait. I don't know if I understand that last part.
He used to think that women should stay covered up, and now he doesn't, and he thinks it's bad that he thought that before.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's
thank
growth.
you so much. Yes, growth.
Space Barbarian. How many dudes feeling uncomfortable at seeing a tiny bit of their past selves, Nathan? People who don't like themselves can be insufferable.
That's so interesting that you said that as well, because Monkey a Typewriter said a similar thing. That is so interesting. Is that all of our super chats?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay. Wow, okay, so we are already 3 minutes late, but that's not that bad. I thought we were going to be way later. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Thinker, for being here for such a strange show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so happy you came. And Lux, thank you for producing and also for keeping this show going. Dragon for screening, all of our mods in the chat, all of our patrons. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging in through some craziness. We appreciate it. Bye. See you next week.